What's up, y'all? We're back with another video. It's the LA Sports Brotherhood. It's me, Ryan, here with my brother Matthew. And I got a little more pep in my step today because I think the Dodgers had a very complete, solid trade deadline. We're here to talk about that now. 5 players in. I think this might actually be the most, just player number wise, that I've seen from a Friedman era deadline, which is interesting. I think, in spite of how incredible the talent on this team is, this is probably the team that's needed the most, like just players to replace the people we have on the team now. So yeah, a lot of different players, a lot of stats to peer through. Matt, why don't you introduce us to some of the guys and talk about who your favorites are?
Yeah, so first trade they made was Tommy Edman, Michael Kopech, a package deal for Miguel Vargas. First of all, a lot of people are sad Vargas is gone. I get it. I particularly want him to be great. We have the same last name as him, and he's a really good guy. It's just there's no room for him. He can't like he's just a horrible outfield defender,
Yeah,
and Shohei's the DH for the next 10 years. No reason to have him. Edman, a really good defender, really fast player, can play multiple positions. He has a Gold Glove in the bag, and kind of a league average hitter, maybe slightly below. Rehab starts coming back soon. Just he's a nice player. With Muncy out, possibly for the season. Honestly, likely for the season. Mookie out, but coming back soon. You know, for Dodger fans, they're sick of Calvin Biggio. Got to be all of us at this point. This guy will take starts from him. He could play third, he could play short, he could play second. It's just another guy to play in the infield. Kopech, really, honestly, really excited about him. A guy who throws triple digits, slider, cutter. Um, I think maybe the Dodgers can turn him around. I made a video on him and Edman, and I said, he's only ever played for the White Sox. So now he's going to the Dodgers, the best development team in the league. Maybe we'll tweak something because the talent is definitely there. But obviously, most excited about Jack Flaherty. Legitimately the best pitcher to be dealt at the deadline.
yeah,
From Southern California, hometown kid. Oh, he grew up a Dodger fan, but he has nasty stuff. This year, sub 3 RA, just been absolutely nasty. I believe either a 10 or 11 K per nine. Fastball, slider, curveball, just nasty stuff. I feel he reminds me a lot of Bueller and just his mannerisms and the pitch mix with the fastball, curveball, and the slider. But a legit like high leverage guy, not a Lance Lynn or someone who just get innings, the Paxton, legit high leverage guy who will start for in the postseason. And it's been a minute. We haven't had a move like this at the deadline since what Scherzer.
yeah,
So the rotation now, the biggest thing for me with Flaherty is he has gone from like before him we needed Yamamoto back and we needed one of Miller or Bueller to come back and be good. Now we don't necessarily need we have a rotation on its own. It's Glass now, it's Flaherty, it's Stone and Kershaw for now. We don't technically need one of those guys, so it stabilizes us for now. And also, if Yoshi ever comes back, that's suddenly you have the best 1, 2, 3 in the sport with Glass now, Yoshi, and Flaherty. So yeah, I'm really big fan of Flaherty. It's the happiest I've been about a Dodger trade in a long time since that 2021 trade. But yeah, uh,
yeah.
what are you most excited about?
I will say the obvious most excitement from like a single trade, um, or from like a single immediate reaction was Flaherty. It was that trade happened with like 5 minutes before the deadline. And obviously, there's always trades that happen. I think not even. I think the Yu Darvish trade in 2017 happened. I think like 30 minutes after the deadline was supposed to end. So I knew there was still time left, but the need for a starter for the exact reason you just laid out was so crucial. I know in our short that we posted, I talked about how I wanted like in terms of needs, I wanted an outfielder first, which I still believed in. And seeing the lineup for today against the Padres, it still very much is an issue. But I think if they're going to piecemeal either offensive positions or starting pitching, I'm glad they decided to go depth for the position players and then get a legit frontline starter as opposed to getting like starter depth and then going for like Luis Robert or something. Because Flaherty is a guy, the type of stuff he has, and frankly, I'm like the underlying metrics, the expected stats and stuff, which I don't consider for like evaluating Cy Young award stuff, which is crazy that people do. But in terms of trying to see if your trade target is going to fall off a cliff, I think it's very important. And he's actually performing below some of his expected numbers. Like his expected ERA is actually exactly the same as his current ERA. I think it's 2.97 each of them. And his expected FIP, which is like fielding independent pitching, it's kind of a stack I don't really like, but it's good at predicting future performance. His that expected number is actually lower than the FIP's at now. So theoretically, not even theoretically, just based on those types of projections, it's very sustainable, the stuff that he's doing. And I don't know, I'm super excited about that because like you said, Yamamoto is alive, I guess. He threw a bullpen sometime this weekend, well, within the last time that Dave Roberts was interviewed. So that's good. I think the rotation's starting to shape up. I think having Flaherty in there now with Glass now, and then having Kershaw, River Ryan, Robleski, Stone, Landon Knack, like that's five guys that you can kind of pull from, and you say, okay, we need two of you guys. We just need two of you guys right now to perform for us. And I believe in all of them. Like truly, I do. So actually, we need three because Kershaw's kind of the third starter there anyway. So, but either way, you have a 60% chance now. If two of them don't hit, but three do, you still have a full rotation. And it was really important because that was not where we were like 2 weeks ago. But in terms of excitement, that was a very long-winded way to say it's not Jack Flaherty. Knowing that because you didn't mention Ahmed Rosario, which was the reaction to that trade was very annoying to me from Dodger fans, if I could be honest. People got mad at the deadline from last year when last year wasn't a team that was going to win a World Series. It was a miracle that we won 100 games, like truly. Ahmed Rosario he produced fine enough for us last year. He's having an even better year this year. He's just straight up like a pretty solid hitter. No pop, but I don't care. He's hitting 300, which is great for some Dodger fans. And his OPS plus is like 115, I think. And it's even including the platoon splits. He has a OPS of nearly 800 against lefties. Having that optionality at the bench with him and Edmund, and frankly, even Kevin Kiermaier, because he's been horrific on offense, but he's a better defender than Outman, and he swings and misses less than Outman. So if you have Outman, I'm saying Outman or Pajes, it's the same thing to me. If you have Kiermaier, like an old vet, hitting ninth with better defense, and he's still at the same speed, I'm very comfortable with that. And now you can kind of mix and match and stuff. That was a very long-winded way to say I'm very pleased with the deadline, Matthew. But in this talk of happiness or projection, like positive projection, is there something you think that we still needed to address that we didn't?
Um, I think the bottom of the lineup is still not great, but I'm not upset because we talked about this of like if because they're not gonna get like they're not gonna frontline starter and outfielder and reliever, something like that. I love that they got depth, and not depth like backup players. Like Edman and Rosario are gonna play,
Yeah.
and these positions of need, they've gotten just so much better there. So it's like, okay, we have like real pros, and I think now you just have so many options. Like Ahmed Rosario, if he can, legit, he's just been solid this year. Like again, I was annoyed as well. It's just because we had him last year. It's like, do you really want to keep running Kike and Taylor out there? Look at Rosario's numbers. He's been solid. So if he can play some infield, if Edman can play some midfield, and you have these guys to move around the diamond, I'm just so sick of the outfield defense. I would legit just start Kiermaier in center and hit him ninth. Not maybe not every day, but that's an option right there. And then you have Pajes and Hayward platoon in left because Hayward's solid against righties, Pajes is solid against lefties. Obviously, Teoscar is an everyday guy. That would be solid. I think this team now, you can confidently say the starters are incredible. Great rotation, when healthy, of course. I don't know what the hell's going on with the bullpen right now, but they're going to be fine. I just have to believe that they've been so solid all year. So the bullpen's great. This is going to be a team where it's like, obviously that front five is really solid. Let's just assume Muncy's out for the rest of the year. That front five is really solid. One of the best front fives, one of the best rotations, great bullpen. The weakness right now is the bottom of the lineup, so I guess I would have to say like, okay, we didn't address getting like a really good hitter, but getting three position players who can all help out. I think that as a secondary, because we had two needs. So if you get a frontline starter and you still address, the outfield and infield concerns, I'm very pleased with that. But if I had to nitpick, it would be getting that like Robert level bat to hit fifth. But I think this group of guys can help produce.
Yeah, absolutely. I think about the complaints that fans have had, including us, especially from us, about the bottom of the lineup and the players that are playing over and over and over, producing nothing. And then they see the Dodgers bring in two legitimate utility guys, fielding wise, that have put up league average or even above league average from Rosario's perspective. Um, like to take the place of Kike and Chris Taylor and Biggio and Nick Ahmed, all these guys that don't do anything for us. And their first reaction was to be upset. I don't get it, but it's not my job to understand other fans. We simply talk about the stuff how we want. Any last words about these players before we get out of here, Matt?
I'll say what's your starting lineup then, real quickly? Front five set, obviously. Let's say Mookie's back. Who do you have at second and third? And who do you have in the outfield spot in center?
Okay, so I was actually obviously thinking about this a lot, even when I was at work. I think the best way to construct this lineup, assuming Muncy was not back, this is how I'm operating, is honestly putting Mookie back in right field. I'm putting Teoscar left field, Kiermaier center, Mookie in right. This is very like pie in the sky. I don't think it's happening. They were very explicit before the year started that Mookie is not going to play a single inning in the outfield. But with Lux being a pretty consistent guy at second now, and you have two guys like Rosario and Edman that can play short, especially if Muncy's back, put Mookie in out the outfield. Anyway, so let me finish my lineup. I'm saying Teoscar, Kiermaier, Mookie, left, center, right. Third base, assuming no Muncy, I'm putting Rosario there because I think he has the most games at third base compared to him and Edman. Edman at short, and then the Lux, Freddie, and Smith are where they always are. The lineup is basically what it always is, just replacing the old guys with the new guys. But yeah, I think that saves you some platoon stuff. Again, and also this is hinging on Rosario and Edman. First of all, Edman to play, but second of all, for both of them to produce at least at league average level. Because if they can, we're pretty set up. But I mean, yes, that's all. With all of those caveats included, I think that's what I'm doing. What about you?
I think I'll just operate because I agree. I don't think Mookie will play outfield, so I'd say he's at short. Ah, see, that's the thing is there's so much movement now. I think, yeah. I'd put Ahmed at third, Mookie at short, Edman at second. Although Lux has been really hot, and then I would put Kiermaier in center. I'd platoon Pius and Hayward because Pius has like legit been good against lefties if you look up his numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So solely lefties. I think that's actually a solid platoon. Kiermaier in center for his defense hitting ninth, and then Teoscar in red, of course. But we'll have to see with Edman and Rosario.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Notice
it's a
how
game.
Taylor or Kike weren't in any of our lineups. That automatically just makes it so much better.
Yeah, and Biggio is not going to be
one thing I will say: if Muncy does come back, this is a scary team.
Yeah, that's the thing. If we get, I don't even want to talk about it honestly because I don't want to jinx anything. But allegedly, Muncy made progress enough in the last weekend for Brandon Gomes, the GM, to talk about the Dodgers having like real confidence that he will be back for the stretch run, which doesn't even mean like this probably means like September 1st at the very earliest, which I don't even know if it's going to happen. But if that can happen, that changes everything. You can play Mookie at short if you want. There's so many options. So frankly, the offense hinges. The ceiling of the offense, no surprise, hinges on Max Muncy coming back. But for now, I want to say thank you, Friedman, for once again coming through. Not for 1 second doubted that he would do it. Third, we're gonna have to talk about the way Dodger fans talk about this franchise because it's insane. But yeah, for now, we'll be back soon after the Padres series, after we see some more injury updates. You know, everything going on. Check us out. Make sure to subscribe if you watched it all the way through. Appreciate you all. Go Dodgers.